What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning back into the Biz with D right here, right now, on my First Links Radio with your one and only Braxton on the mic, David Dwayne. We have the beautiful and talented Goapele on with us. How's it going, Goapele?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing so good. Thanks for coming on the show. We definitely appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. And I've got to say, congratulations. Your new album is out. Came out yesterday. How are you feeling to, being able to, release another album, being that you've been in the industry so long?
I feel really excited. I feel proud to say I'm 4 albums deep now. I think each time going into a project, it can be kind of intimidating for me, especially as a songwriter. And each album is really different. I got to collaborate with a lot of good people and different producers I hadn't worked with, and I just really feel excited and relieved now that it's, finished and out into the world and people can hear it for themselves.
I know that's right. And I've got to say, I'm very excited for you because this album is, like you mentioned, it's your 4th album. And it's just a great time, and I'm loving the direction that you're going with R&B, keeping it very true to, your true fashion with your music of what you've done in the past and keeping it up to date. I got to say, phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you.
No doubt, because the single, T-Boy featuring Snoop Dogg, which was written with Estelle, I got to say, wow, like that is incredible. I love the the real funkiness side of the R&B, and I like how you guys got together and came up with it. How was it working in the studio with them?
It was like putting a beautiful puzzle together. It was a collaborative process between a few of us in the studio, and it was mainly just concentrated on we want a good vibe. The song is kind of about the new chemistry and kind of, when you're first kind of starting to fall in love with someone and just how that feels, and when you're still feeling kind of shy and just waiting for them to make a move. And it was just cool to get to work with some different writers and get to explore something that was a little bit different for me. I don't always get to write up-tempo songs that feel good and still feel like I'm in my own zone. So this was like a breath of fresh air for me and kind of exciting. And then I just love how Snoop flows over, West Coast kind of funk, old soul kind of track. So I think he was completely in his element, and he's just such a wonderful person.
Absolutely. And I've even got to ask you, since you mentioned the fact of West Coast, you're from the West Coast as well, and R&B is really booming. Like, you guys have really taken over East Coast radio. How do you feel about, the R&B from the West Coast, really doing this thing on the East Coast?
I don't know. I mean, for me, as proud as I am to be from the West Coast, I know I've always drawn some inspiration from the East Coast because I just feel like I like its edge and, the influences that come through hip-hop and, Mary J. Blige and all of that. And I feel like, on the West Coast, we have some of that edge, and I've always liked to bring that in on my music, with the bass lines and drums and stuff. But then, since it's Cali, it's kind of a laid-back feel as far as, where I can go with a song over it. So I really enjoy both, honestly.
So now, I've got to even mention the title track of the album, Strong as Glass. I really like the empowering title of it. And with your music, always you have that very empowering feel. Is it always good? I mean, it's kind of dumb for me to ask, but I'm asking it anyway. Does it always feel good to have to keep, that empowering movement within your music for you?
Well, sometimes I can't tell if, the songs are going to be empowering for other people. I just try and be honest, and I think a lot of my songs reflect feeling strong and feeling vulnerable and kind of those in-between emotions that I feel like as women we don't always get to express. Like, usually it's like we're either in love and the person can't do anything wrong, or it's all bad and it's over. And I feel like there's so much in between in real life that I try and tap into that in my music. And just because that's how I am, it's never just one way for me. I'm feeling all these things at once and I don't know what to do. And I think that in that kind of searching for, what's my path, and I'm trying to be on my road and all of that, hopefully, it comes out optimistic or inspiring to the listener. I just want to give them something real that they can connect to.
Right. And how was it connecting with the record Strong as Glass, which you said? Because I really connected with that record myself. I was like, yes, feels so good.
Thank you. I have to give it up to, Estelle and Omari Hardwick actually, came with those lyrics, and I had chills when I was first being introduced to that song, and I was like, I want that song. I feel that song. It's like I feel it in my heart, and so I was honored that I was able to sing it and use it on my album, and I just felt like what it represented for me as a woman, I feel like is what so many people are going through, of kind of like, you're trying to carry the weight of the world, and you feel weak and fragile sometimes, and you feel, strong and like you can handle it all, other times, and that's kind of the qualities of glass. It's strong, but it's breakable, and so I just felt like we had to go with it for the title.
And I love it. I really do like even like from the photo shoot and the artwork, like it really is really pieced together. So I gotta high five and commend you on the fact that you chose that as the title. It just all makes sense.
Thank you.
No doubt. And what would you say definitely was the hardest part about recording this album? Like, what was one struggle that you had to say, like, you noticed in this recording process?
The challenging part of recording this album, it felt like a long journey. It took on a lot of different phases. I recorded a lot of songs before I ended up with these 10. And, I went in the studio when the spirit moved me. I went in the studio when I wasn't inspired. And, pieces, there were nuggets, in there that would form into another song, and so I think it was just a long process to get to where it felt like, all right, this is it, and this is how we're going to do it. And it was also an interesting kind of full circle for me, because I got to work with some old friends of mine that I had never been in the studio with before, like Keith Harris and Eric Benet and different people. So it kind of like in its own time, it totally came together.
Right. And what's it like, working with Eric Benet? I mean, he is such an R&B veteran, and I just got to know, how's it working with him?
It was fun working with him. He's, he has such a beautiful voice. He's one of those people that just walks around singing, you know, and is just dripping music and is just coming up with ideas right and left. And, you know, it's like you can take it or leave it. Take this idea or leave it. And so it was great to be able to bounce off ideas with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a great sense of humor, so that kind of made it a little lighter in the studio, which is always nice, you know, when it feels more like play than like work.
Right.
And also, he's been working with a producer, DeMonte Posey, since the beginning, and, you know, some of the ballads that they did together, I think, I'm trying to remember the name of this song that I used to listen to in college and cry to, but I was just happy that we all three, you know, got to work on a ballad for this album, because I just felt like, you know, that was another circle being completed, you know, and going back to my roots.
Right. And would that ballad be My Love, the single that's on the album?
Well, My Love is kind of a little bit more of a club kind of track, and me and Eric did that song as a duet.
Mm-hmm.
But Some Call It Love is a ballad that we wrote together. So it's nice. We got to try two totally different things.
Right. And how is it being able to, you know, try two different styles of music, like with like both of them in the studio, and like being able to really experiment?
It was great. I mean, we worked on a few different things in the studio, and we were like, let's just experiment, try different stuff, and see what feels right at the end of the day. And those two songs just felt like these need to be on the album.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to hearing it, because your work alone and then Eric's work, it's just always phenomenal. I always look forward to it. Every album, I'm like, yes, I'm getting my fix.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. Yes, you can get it today.
Yes, that's right. You guys can get it today. iTunes, Amazon, and everything else, and in stores too. So while you guys are listening, you might want to run out or download it while you're listening to it. Yes, yes. And
strong as glass.
For sure. And now, are you coming out with music videos to the singles from the album soon?
Yes. People should see a Hey Boy video out there soon. And sooner than that, I'm going to be touring. I'm about to be in New York at the High Line. I'm going to be in D.C. At Birchmere that I often go to and love. I'm going to be in Philly, and you know, from there head through the South and the West Coast, and even, you know, hit Toronto and everything. So people can follow me on Instagram at Goapele, Twitter. All the dates are up there. Goapele.com. Goapele. In case you don't know how to spell my name, I know it's complicated.
Only the slow ones can't spell that. No shade. Well, Goapele, thank you so much for this interview. It was definitely great chatting with you. I'm looking forward to listening to this album for the rest of the week. I've already been listening to, you know, Hey Boy and Strong as Glass, but I really got to get into this. I've been so sidetracked, but I'm definitely going to get into it. And, like, you know,
yeah,
everybody...
I know. I want to hear what other songs, you know, that resonate with you, so let me know.
I definitely will. And I'll be at your, I haven't picked, but I will either be at your Philly or your New York show.
Okay.
I'll let you know. But I'm looking forward to, you know, seeing you perform live. I've had the chance of seeing you perform live before, and it's always a great show.
Thank you. Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
Anytime with Goapele. Have a good rest of the day and stuff like that, and congratulations on the album. Once again, everybody, go get Strong as Glass by Goapele in stores now. I think Amazon and everything else. Just get with it, people. Don't get lost.